Welcome to the Global Peace Film Festival Lives Online Conversation 2021 Festival Edition. Please join me, Kelly Devine, the Artistic Director, and Nina Strike, the Executive Director, in conversation with Dina Najjar and Salem Murphy, the filmmakers behind the film Grape Leaves. This film can be seen as part of our in-person screenings, which begin September 21st and run through September 26th, as well as part of our online streaming access beginning September 27th and running through October 3rd. All the information regarding the screenings, descriptions, schedules can be found at peacefilmfest.org. And now, let's join Dina and Salem and welcome them to this conversation. Hello, ladies.
Hi. Thank you.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Hi, hi, Dina and Salem. It's so good to have you with us. So let's start. I'll start with Dina, and Salem, jump in anywhere you want. Tell us about the film.
So our film is Grape Leaves, and it's a narrative drama based on true experiences that both Salem and I have had. We wrote this film together, and we are both Arab American women whose families immigrated to the States to create a better life. And it centers around our main character, Salma, played by Salem. And she is a well-respected Arab American professor who is stunned into silence after her world is shaken in the wake of an unthinkable tragedy, and forced to rethink the relationships with those closest to her, and how she reshapes her life after this tragedy is really going to alter all she thought she understood and trusted. But with the love of her family, she regains the hope and strength she needs to ignite future change. And Salem, please add anything else you would like to add about the film.
Yeah, I think, and I think the biggest thing for me is I'm also an immigrant. I wasn't born and raised here. And I think what I appreciated about being able to work with Dina is we're both Arab descent. I'm Syrian and Dina is Jordanian. And with her background as a child who was born and raised here, if I'm not mistaken, Dina, for you, and then me being an immigrant, we were just both able to bring the similar perspective. And sorry, that's some trucks doing their thing in the background. Yeah, we were able to bring very similar Middle Eastern perspective and how it affected us, but at the same time, from a different sentiment. And somehow we, we both connected on that, and then the film was born.
And I'd like to, for people who haven't seen it yet, to let them know that it's a narrative. It's not a documentary. You are not sharing your actual personal experiences. So can you talk a bit about that approach? Why you chose to fictionalize these things that were at least a part of your own real life experience?
Well, we kind of combined some of both of our experiences in the film. So some of these things actually were things that happened to me or to Salem. And we thought making it a narrative was a way to combine both of our experiences and things that we wanted to share and messages that were important to us, like breaking stereotypes for Arab Americans in film and television. So that was a way that we thought we could really translate our story best and be able to share more experiences rather than just one person's.
Yeah, I think, can you hear me okay? I will.
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think to add on to that, part of the reason we wanted to make it a narrative was the accessibility. We wanted this story to be, yes, they're viewing it from the perspective of how we walked through 9/11, but we also wanted the audience to look at that and just be able to just remotely place themselves in a similar sort of avenue of what the thought was and make it accessible for the audience. And so the narrative seemed the best approach.
Exactly.
And so both in the process of making the film and also of the completed film being shown to audiences, were there things that surprised you about the process? Were there things that you yourself saw through a different lens as a part of making this film?
I would say something that surprised us, but very much pleased us, was when we first shared the script with our cast. And, you know, these are people from all different walks of life. And besides Salem and I, none of them are Middle Eastern. They read the script and they really understood it right away, which was really, we were so happy about that this story does translate to, because we really, like Salem said, we wanted something accessible for everyone to be able to relate to and to be able to relate to something in the film. So that was something that was surprising, but really wonderful that they really got it. That meant a lot to us.
Yes, I think that was, I would have to totally agree with Dina. It was such a, we were hoping for that when we shared the script. And we were also hoping, I mean, part of the film was the tagline is "Be willing." And boy, were these actors very willing. And we were hoping for conversation, because the front end, the back end of this film is, we were hoping people would take this and walk away, and at the very least question and be willing to have conversations. And these actors just did that and more. And I would say that was the best feeling.
Yeah,
Well,
it really
Salem-
was.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just wanted to agree with Salem.
And Salem, I want to use that phrase, "be willing," as a jumping off point to connect this film, this lovely film that you guys have created, to the mission of the Global Peace Film Festival. You know, our goal is you know, to present stories that inspire, provide models, or otherwise are avenues for people to create a more peaceful and just world. And you know, and so I think the nuance that you offer and the vulnerability that you were willing to share through this, you know, really comes through, and I think will be really very helpful for shaping. But can you tell a bit more about, you know, what you hope people will take away with regard to that sentiment of being willing?
I know. Yeah, I know. I'm sure we both have a lot to say about this subject.
I'm going to let Dina talk while I try to find a more quiet spot while they're doing work. So bear with me as I walk. This will be such a different virtual interview, but take it away, Dina.
Well, you know, the big thing we want for people to take away is, like we've been saying, to be willing to actually get to know people and to get to know them for who they are, and not, you know, lump people together in stereotypes. Often Middle Eastern people in film and TV are depicted a certain way, and they're just seen that one way. I mean, we very rarely get to play parts that are different. You know, we see them as terrorists, we see them as the wives of terrorists, or we see them as people fighting against terrorists. There's, you know, there's a few roles that we see them in, and we just want people to see people as people. And that's what we did in the film. We saw them as, they're your neighbors, they're people. You know, we're intelligent, strong women, which is how I know Arab American women to be. And, you know, that's not an exception, that is who they are. And that's what we depicted. You know, we have Selma being a professor, and we have her daughter going to med school, and you know, they have friends over for dinner. And that's another thing, we wanted to show how food is something that unites everyone. You know, we come together and we eat, and we're all the same. We're all, you know, we're all together, and we're all sharing in the merriment and enjoyment and laughing together. And no matter what walk of life you come from, food is something that can unite us all. So you see a lot of food in the film. So definitely eat before you watch it, because you're gonna get hungry. So I know that's my big mission, is to create diversity without stereotype, to see people as people and not a predetermined stereotype that you think of a culture. So just you know, and you know, things like we got the idea to make Selma's husband a pilot because Salem's husband is a pilot, and you know, so that's from real life. So that was inspired by that. But yeah, and I'll let Salem add on anything you'd like to add.
Said, and it's so true. About the only thing I could add is that the idea of being willing, the day that, or I think it was the third day, Dina, correct me if I'm wrong. Either the first or the second day we filmed, maybe was the Pulse shooting.
The last day, yeah, filming.
Last was
Mhm.
the third day. And then this film is sort of an extension of our experience from 9/11, which is true. The Pulse was nothing anyone expected. And now here we are today. And, you know, as an immigrant, I learned a lot about the American culture and how to put what I was coming from with the American culture. My idea the idea behind, for me, the motivation for Be Willing is just to give that opening for people to come together, not just of different cultures, but different thoughts, different perspectives,
Mhm.
different experiences, and we all process them so differently. We all have such a different family of origin story that we're all affected differently. And my hope when we did, you know, wanted it to, that tagline was that that's what people would do, is they would come together and there would be a sharing of the story, not from a place of conversion, but a place of conversation.
Yes.
And that's my motto my whole life, is there's no need to convert, just have a conversation, because truly, in my opinion, people want to be validated. And today more than ever, there's a need to be validated, to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. There's no fixing that's necessary. Just see what the person is saying. And, you know, there's very few in this life that a person needs fixing. Once a person I've found is heard and seen, somehow it creates this sort of relaxation within them that allows them to feel safe. And from that safety, can come better decisions. That's what it's been for me.
Absolutely. Well put, Salem. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that so aligns with the mission of the festival, where we try to create a respectful place for people to have their disagreements and to raise issues that may not be, that people may not agree about, but respect is just so, and understanding is just, really so important, especially, more today than ever.
Yes.
So, Kelly, did you have another question before? Okay, so to wrap this up, what's next for both of you, and how can our audiences, people watching this, how can they support your work?
I am finishing up a set of short films that's actually going to be put together to make one longer short film. It's called Damaged, and it's snippets of life that show the different ways that someone becomes quote unquote damaged based on traumas that, and it's very slice of life. It's based on true experiences again. And so, having all of these things happen to you, all these traumas, we've all suffered traumas in our life. That's something we can all relate to in all our different ways, and still staying hopeful through it all, because sometimes hope is all we have. So that's what I'm working on. And you can follow my production company at Films by TN Productions on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll always update everything on those.
For me right now, I'm back in my poetry. I'm also writing. I'm not sure if I could call it a novel. It might be a series of short stories. And my journey right now, I feel, is just the flip side of all of this, and just a sharing, again, just for anyone who can relate to whatever, as Dina said, whatever trauma, it doesn't have to be huge.
No.
Trauma, somebody to fall apart. That's been my observation, my life. That the smallest drama to a person that's huge, it's huge. The end of story. So for me, I'm hoping that my series of short stories, or however it blossoms, will be that flip side of this journey for me. And just, just a sharing again. So that's what I have going on. And I share on Instagram, not as well as I probably could, but I do my best. So hopefully that'll be on there at some point when it comes together. We'll see.
That's awesome. Salem is a very talented poet. I love your poetry.
Thanks. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you both, Dina and Salem. This has been such a lovely conversation. And I hope everyone takes away from your film that beautiful sentiment of being willing in the world. It's a lovely thought, and it is a lovely film. And please, thank you to everyone who watched this interview. Please do find Grape Leaves as part of the Global Peace Film Festival. You can go to the festival website, peacefilmfest.org, to find out about the scheduling and all of the other upcoming events. Please follow us on social media. And to learn more and keep up with Dina and Salem's work, please be sure to check out Facebook/Grape Leaves Film or Facebook/by TN Productions. And that will be a great way for you to keep very up to date with all of the new work that Dina is putting out. Thank you again, and we will see you at the next flow.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting up with the work trucks behind. I appreciate that.